G'day, swingers! Swingers. How are you, folks? It's past midnight now, so it's Sunday. Let's go to the 4th of October. I think it's 101 days since ridiculous lockdown has started in Sydney. I'm Macca. Welcome to Macca'S Old School Podcast. How are you, folks? Yeah, I know. Now, I will apologise. This is episode number 5, and I will apologise for the delay. It's it's been delayed, but my beautiful old dad, Graham, and I will pay my respects to him, passed about 3 weeks ago, so that's what's been the delay. I think we were going to be up to episode 7 by now, so sorry about that. He was a wonderful man. He actually was 96 and 8 months old. He was born in 1925 in Wales and moved to Australia when he was a bit over 1 year old, I think, so it would have been 1926, and lived a long life here. He's seen war, he's seen television, everything else, but he lived 94 good years. He's had last 2 and a bit years pretty rough, thanks to James Hardy. But long story short, he worked at Homebush in 1940 when he was 15 for 2 or 3 months. He was too young at that stage to enlist, and he worked out there, just that period of time. His dad got him a couple of months' work there, and then he started an apprenticeship, and asbestos was galore out there, and it hit him 79, nearly 80 years later, which is unbelievable, folks. We caught up with him. So he's had a rough trot, but I'm happy for his peace. You're a wonderful man. He was at the opening of the Harbour Bridge in the 19th of March, 1932. Correct me if I'm wrong. On his dad's shoulders on the Kirribilli side. And he said it was a big crowd of about 10,000, and no one really gave a rat's too much about the bridge. It was more about the fireworks and the party afterwards, apparently. But God bless you, Graham, and all the best, my lovely old dad. Anyways, folks, how we all been? My God, I remember, so this is the 5th one we're doing. I remember back probably the 2nd or 3rd saying, it's week 3. Well, it's actually, I think we're going into week 15. Fucking hell, can you believe it? And she's gone. The glad bag, which I've talked about many times, she's gone. She resigned. I mean, like I said, I don't hate the woman, but I totally disagree with a lot of the shit she's done. I have actually voted for her in the past, and Morrison, when I was a Liberal voter. I'm a reformed Liberal voter now. But before I crap on, grand final, folks. Grand final. Unfucking believe. What a game. And what fantastic, and congratulations to both teams. I mean, the Panthers, the Premiers, absolutely congratulations. Played like fucking champions. And the Rabbit and the Bunnies. I mean, fuck that. It was at 14-12. What a game. I mean, they were both brilliantly matched, and well done to that. Absolutely fantastic. Fucking hell. Congrats to all. And, no shame anywhere there. They're fantastic teams. Fantastic. No shame at all. Anyway, what was that? Yeah, it's a glad bag. Fucking hell. But I mean, we should get into that too. A quick little ditty. A wife asked her husband, she said, "Darling, what do you like about me the most? My pretty face or my fantastic sexy body?" And he looked her up and down and he replied, "Your sense of humour." Anyway, that was just to break the ice a little bit. So we're going into that. Yeah. So Gladys is gone, and fucking hell, I think she did the right thing, really. Not knowing enough about it, but there's been a lot of circumstances where she's, there's questions to be answered. She was facing this sort of thing, and I think she's bailed nicely. Who gets it, I don't know. I think it's leaning to, is it Palaszczuk? There's one thing I've heard which I like with him is apparently he butted heads with Gladbach a few times about ending the lockdowns. So, I mean, whoever gets in, whether it's him or whatever, fuck, end the lockdowns. And I'm sorry, take away this emergency, state of emergency or extra powers or whatever to the police. That needs to be taken away immediately with the end of lockdowns. Please, Parechet or whoever the fuck gets in, it needs to be done immediately, please. It really does. What can you say? It's been a wild time. It's been a month since I've done one of these. I had a double bourbon for the grand final tonight, and like I said, it wasn't fantastic. So I've been meaning to do one for a while. So again, my apologies, folks. But Victoria. I mean, extra powers in the police of Victoria. I mean, Victoria, we're locked down to the shit. Victoria and Melbourne have had it far worse than us, and you really want to see what's going on down there. You really got to look to things like Aussie Cossack, which you'll find through YouTube, and Rebel News. RV Rebel News. I mean, and they're showing what's really going on down there. It's a lot of fucking assaults. I mean, the police are really out of control down there. For fuck's sake, it's got to stop. Yes, there's been a lot of shit going on down there with the construction workers, and they're not fucking neo-Nazis. They're construction workers. So it's a neo-Nazi thing, and they're totally anti-vax. Anti-vax is a part of it, but it's not all of it. And I mean, you've only got to open your eyes if you ever see any footage on like the fucking commercial news, and look at some of the placards. Fuck you, Andrews. We want our freedom, and lockdowns. So yes, it's partly about the vax. Yeah, it is. But it's also about freedoms and ending this insanity. And as we all know, I think in the last 2 weeks, Melbourne became the lockdown capital of the world with the whole COVID zing fucking bullshit that we've had to endure for for how long? Nearly 2 years, I don't know, 20 months, something like that now. A really long time. So, I mean, Chairman Dan, you really need your ass kicked. I mean, if you want to get technical, if the Prime Minister had any balls, and we've talked about this many times in the past, but if he had balls, he would stop this. And he says he hasn't got the power. Well, you were elected the Prime Minister of the country, and you were elected. And what was your speech? You believe in miracles or some fucking shit? I hope you do, because it'll be a massive miracle if you get in again, Maury. It really will. But, you were like, you can't do this. Okay, well, we'll go to the next step, which would be the Governor General. In my 50 plus years, the only thing they've ever done was sack Whitlam, and that was Kerr, and he got crucified for that. Now, I was a bub, so I can't say whether it was right or wrong. I was a fucking kid when it happened, but that was the only action I've ever seen them take. But they have got the power to do anything, but fucked if they will. So therefore, perhaps they're the shop front that most people think they are. I think they are. They're on a good gig. Fucking hell, with the pay, and you do some awards and decorations and awards and OAMs and things like that, and it's a pretty good gig, the Governor General gig. But I can't see anyone doing anything, and they fucking should. They really should. I mean, cheers. Sorry, folks, I need a sip of water. I'm busting. Yeah, but they really should. I mean, but it won't happen. But what's happening in Victoria under Chairman Dan? I mean, what the fuck with you cops, guys? Now, look, I've never been anti-cops, but you guys are about as popular as a fucking shark attack at the moment. You really are. You're shooting yourselves in the foot every day. With the shit going on. What's this grabbing someone, stay in groups, guys. What's this grabbing, if you're single, they grab, and there's 3, 4, 5, up to 6 at a time with your G.I. Joe belts and the sprays. And come on, guys, I mean, most people like me, we're not anti-cops, but we're leaning that way now. We've had a fucking, you guys are out of control, you know, and it's going to take years for you guys to get trust back from the public. It'll be fucking years because you're really acting like, you know, 1950s, 60s fucking jacks, you know, and you should just be pulled up. And this emergency power in New South Wales, Victoria, and wherever else it is, it needs to be stopped. You know, and I've seen shit where you've just grabbed guys off the street and chucked them down the ground and slamming people on the ground, and not just the 70-year-old, and that was some weeks back now. Fucking terrible, horrific. But there's been heaps of stuff, you know, 5-foot blonde girls that, you know, standing there and the cop has a go telling them to piss off. Next minute they're just flattened with like, what the fuck, you know? I saw a really interesting one in Victoria, obviously, where the truckies had a go, and I think it was the last week or week and a bit ago. And these cops come out, the Victorian cops, which are, by the way, guys, the outfits are looking more Nazi all the fucking time. Came out and there's like 100 cops or whatever standing across the street, and they've got their batons and doing the and again fully loaded fucking semi-trailers. I mean, you know, and they're not going to run you over or anything, but I mean, if they did, you know, you'd be fucking squished. You'd be fucking little entree hors d'oeuvres all over the fucking bull bar for sure. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't. But I mean, it was pathetic. You're like, a baton against a whatever 50, 60, 70 ton rig. I mean, guys. But you really got to calm down, you know, and you've got to stop harassing people and putting 40-gallon drum fucking sprays in people's faces, and you know. And you know, Chairman Dan, you're a fucking wanker, mate. You're a tosser. I mean, you know, you're letting your people go through this. You lie through your fucking teeth all the time. How's those ICU beds going in? 4,000 ICU beds. But you know, I mean, it's just ridiculous, and it's got to stop. You know, it's you know, and it's been bad in New South Wales too, but we haven't as much protests and stuff as well. But the construction industry totally right? Probably not, but I'm about 98% behind them. Yeah, you know, and as far as going to the, you know, war memorials or whatever, I don't think it's disrespect at all. If you really think about it, wouldn't it be more like the Anzac fighting fucking spirit? They're going there to say, you know, I can't see anyone burning cars and looting shops. I can't see anyone defacing anything there. They've had a gutful, and they stand there, and then after a while the cops just move in and do their shit and start picking people off. And all I can say is to the cops, particularly Victoria, New South Wales and Australia-wide, before you do this shit, just think about it. Just think about it a bit, guys. You know, you're doing all this terrorism shit on your own people. Pretty much all of them are pretty decent citizens and taxpayers. And I'm sorry, but taxpayers pay you guys, public pubes, and you know, I've been a public pube for Christ's sakes. But you know, just you know. You've obviously had people in the military in your families as well, and just have a think about it to yourself and think, fuck, would my grandfather be happy with me, with my knee on a 40, 50, 60-year-old lady's head that probably has done the right thing all her life, and now I've just sprayed a big gash of like that big fucking, it was like the old Peebo fucking cans. You've got that spray, but it's not the little, you've got the big like little Jerry fucking cans of it, you know. But just think, how do you feel about it? If you're really not happy with the situation in your job, just fucking can it, mate. You know, I mean, look at the military as another option, or look at something as another option, but that's not policing. You know, it's bullshit. And I know you're just following orders, but everyone does. And it's like the old saying, you know, the whole Nazi Germany, they were just following orders too, mate. I mean, you've got to calm it down. So I don't hate you guys, but my estimation, like everyone else, has dropped rock bottom with some of the shit I've seen that's gone on, mainly Victoria, but in New South Wales as well. And it's just fuck, guys. It's got to stop. It really does. I mean, you know, it's I don't know, it's gone on for a long time. But anyway, so yeah, we haven't done one for a month. A bloody month. So what are we? We're 15 minutes in. So we are definitely, according to Sarinchi, we are definitely having, the next one will be video. So this is the 5th one, and 6th one will be video. And the quick one tonight too, I've got to give it a little update. Oh, we finished the prosy, Helper prosy. It wound out about 13:30. I topped it up with 1400 even. Now, what I didn't mention before was that will help a prosy, but it'll help a prosy's kids, and that will go to nappies, food, a little bit of school fees, or babysit, whatever, stuff like that. And I will prove all that, and as soon as we get out of this bullshit. Now, this Perichet guy, I'm hoping, if he takes over for a couple of things, and that's just, can the fucking lockdown immediately, and also take back this emergency bullshit with the police to take back those extra powers, and let's try and get back to normal a bit and stop harassing good citizens. Now, finishing off, what was that bit tonight? We got to do a bit of 70s. What was your first car? What was your first fucking car? Seriously, mine was an HG Premier 1971, green with a dark vinyl roof. It was sort of a greeny bluey colour with a dark vinyl roof. 186 motor, great car, fucking tank. Paid $1,000 for it, so I would have been 17 and a bit. But I learned to drive on a Tirana L, which I guess, someone correct me if I don't know, 75, 6, somewhere 7, somewhere around that model. And great cars, but how could you not forget your first fucking car? You know what I mean? And with lady friends and dates and things like that. I christened that car at the Dundas drive-ins. But those sorts of cars, my mate had a Mini that was like footprints on the roof, big time, all the time. But what sort of car? Tirana, SLR, Monaro, GTS, 4-door Monaro, Mags, 70s, 80s cars, XB, Falcon XC. I had an XC. I had an XC77 that had the rectangular lights at the fronts. Great cars. Most of my cars, I think, were Ford and Holden. And they were fantastic cars, But what was your first car? Tell us what it was. Was it a Mini? Was it a Datsun? It was Datsun. So I had a Datsun as well at some stage, a 200B, and I drove it through a small fence. That's another story, but down in Canberra. A girlfriend of mine had a 120Y. That was in the 80s. That was a footprint on the roof situation as well. I think in the 80s as well. But what did you have? What sort of car did you have? My mate had a little rotary. What were the rotaries? Little flashy motor and the little hot rod Harry situation. They were pretty cool. But yeah, that was your first car. 70s and 80s cars were fantastic. The Statesman DeVille, the Caprice. So what did I have in the Holden? The 186. So in that range there was the 179, 186, 253, 4.2. 5 litre, is it 308? There were some fucking great cars back there. But Monaros and the Statesmans were like really fantastic. And they were always parked across the street, and But contact us. What was your car? What was your experience in the car? You'd have to do a lot of shit in that car. And you hated those P plates. You wanted those fuckers off. You wanted to look cool, But we used to get accessories. You get accessories. You get a Holden sticker on the top of your windscreen or something like that. Always had accessories, So anyway, sorry, a bit dry as a nun's nasty. But yeah, anyway. So little brief thing with the car that night. Tonight, little brief 70s thing with that. But we'll go into it further next week. So we really are hoping we'll probably do the next one in 7 or 8 days, and we're really hoping that we'll get the fucking video thing going, and I think we will. So you'll see finally some sort of video chat and what have you there. So so sorry it's taken so long, Swingers. It's episode 5. It's taken a while to get back on, but like I said, my old pops hit the road. And God love him. Again, Aussie Cossack, a fucking legend, and Rebel News are legends too. If you really want to see some shit that is going on with stuff like that, check it out. Check it out for sure. You know, and look what's really going. We got Chairman Dan. I mean, for fuck's sake, you know, seriously, you're a fucking mate. You've got to be removed, resign. I mean, you're as dodgy as. But they all are. As we've said before, what do you fucking do? You know, I mean, you know, what do you do? Who fucking knows? A wife was showing off her smart new pair of shoes to a friend of hers, of course, at the time, and it was very generous of your husband to buy you such an expensive pair of shoes, a friend says. He had to, she said. I caught him kissing, snogging the maid. Oh my God, how awful for you, your friend said. You obviously, you sacked her? Certainly not. I still need a matching handbag. Another little ditty in there as well. You know, the little shitty ones that I'm thinking of years ago without getting fucking sued and lawyers involved and discrimination and land rights for gay whales and stuff like that. Anyway, what can you do? All right, guys, well, we'll wrap it up. It's good to be back. I hope you're all well. We're getting through it. So I think it's Tuesday. They're going to decide whether this is a Perishow or Perichet or whatever. And there's another guy, which I can't think of now. There was 2 involved, I think. So we'll see what happens. And really, you know, if you've got any smarts, just do that. Just end this fucking lockdown thing. And also take away the extra powers from the police, please. You know, they've got enough. And straighten that out and get things back on track and open up Sydney again, for fuck's sake. You know, we got to do it. We got to do it, Swingers, for fuck's sake. All right. Thank you very much. Subscribe if you wish and click on. I think we're coming up to nearly 3 months. Like I said, we should be on 7. We're on 5. But I think we're coming up to nearly 1,000 views, which is a lot for us because we're non-professional. We're amateur little fucks, and but anyway, it's been a good partying week because I don't hate Gladys, but I'm fucking glad you're gone. You did the right thing, honey. You know, you're gonna bail before she sinks. So anyway, thanks again. Take care, and we will talk to you real soon. Maybe 8-9 days. Good on you, Swingers. We'll talk to you. Okay, take care. Bye.